Across the sands of time, echoes of great leaders whisper to us. The wind that sweeps over these ancient ruins carries stories of ambition, vision, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. Here, in the heart of the Iranian desert, the stones themselves seem to remember the footsteps of those who shaped history. These are not just relics of a forgotten age, they are silent witnesses to the rise and fall of empires, to the dreams and deeds of men who dared to change the world. Their names, etched in stone, remind us of empires built and battles won. Each inscription is a testament to the enduring legacy of those who once ruled these lands. The cuneiform carvings, painstakingly chiseled by ancient hands, speak of triumphs and tragedies, of rulers who sought immortality through their deeds. These stones are more than mere artifacts. They are the voices of the past, calling out to us across millennia. But few figures loom as large as Cyrus the Great, founder of the Persian Empire. His image, whether cast in bronze or immortalized in legend, stands as a symbol of leadership and vision. Cyrus was not just a king, he was a force of nature, a man whose ambition was matched only by his sense of justice. His story is woven into the very fabric of Persian identity, a tale told and retold by generations who look to him as the father of their nation. He wasn't just a conqueror carving his name in blood. The battlefields he crossed were not merely sites of destruction, but places where destinies were forged. Cyrus understood the cost of war, but he also recognized the power of mercy. Unlike many rulers of his time, he sought not only to defeat his enemies, but to win their respect and loyalty. His campaigns were marked by both strategic brilliance and a remarkable sense of restraint. Cyrus was different. He was a unifier, bringing together disparate tribes under a single banner. In a world fractured by conflict and division, he saw the potential for unity. He welcomed people of different backgrounds, languages, and beliefs into his empire, forging a new identity that transcended old rivalries. The Persian Empire became a tapestry of cultures, each thread woven together by Cyrus's vision of harmony and cooperation. He was a visionary, building a vast empire on a foundation of respect and tolerance. The cities he founded, like Persepolis, were not just centers of power, they were symbols of a new order, where people could live and prosper together. Cyrus's policies of religious freedom and cultural respect set him apart from other rulers of his era. He believed that true strength came from embracing diversity, not suppressing it. And he was a legend, his story passed down through generations, inspiring awe and admiration. Ancient scrolls and monuments bear witness to his deeds, while storytellers and poets have kept his memory alive. The tales of Cyrus's wisdom and courage have traveled far beyond the borders of Persia, influencing leaders and thinkers across the world. His legacy is not just one of conquest, but of enlightenment, a beacon for those who seek to rule with justice and compassion. This is the story of Cyrus, the shepherd who became a king, the conqueror who became a liberator. Born into humble beginnings, he rose to greatness not through cruelty, but through wisdom and vision. The legend of the Shepherd King reminds us that greatness can emerge from the most unlikely places, and that true leadership is defined not by birthright, but by character and conviction. This is the tale of how one man, driven by ambition and guided by wisdom, changed the course of history. As the sun rises over the ruins of ancient palaces, we are reminded that the actions of a single individual can shape the destiny of nations. Cyrus's journey from shepherd to emperor is a testament to the power of vision, determination, and the courage to dream beyond the limits of the possible. His story, like all great epics, begins with ambition. But unlike so many others, Cyrus's ambition was not fueled by greed or cruelty. It was a desire to create something lasting, to build a legacy that would endure long after his own time. He saw himself not just as a conqueror, but as a guardian of his people's future, a leader who would lay the foundations for generations to come. But it's tempered by a wisdom rare in conquerors. Cyrus understood the delicate balance between power and responsibility. He listened to the counsel of his advisors, respected the traditions of those he ruled, and sought to govern with fairness. His wisdom was not just in strategy, but in empathy, a quality that set him apart from the tyrants of his age. Cyrus understood that true power lay not just in might, but in the hearts and minds of the people he ruled. He knew that an empire built on fear would crumble, but one built on trust and respect could endure for centuries. His policies reflected this insight as he worked to win the loyalty of his subjects through acts of kindness and justice. The coins and reliefs from his reign show a ruler who valued his people, and who sought to be remembered not just as a conqueror, but as a benefactor. This insight, revolutionary for its time, would shape his reign and echo through the ages. As the sun sets over the ruins of Persepolis, we are left to ponder the legacy of a king who saw beyond the horizon of his own era. Cyrus the Great's vision of unity, tolerance, and enlightened rule continues to inspire us today, reminding us that the greatest leaders are those who serve not just their own ambitions, but the hopes and dreams of all their people. Cyrus's story begins shrouded in the mists of time, around 600 BC. In an age when legends and reality often blurred, the land that would one day be called Persia was a patchwork of small kingdoms, tribal alliances, and ancient traditions. The world was changing, but in these remote valleys and rugged hills, life moved to the rhythm of the seasons, and the stories of ancestors echoed through the generations. He was born a prince, but not to a mighty empire. Instead, his family ruled a modest court, surrounded by the trappings of nobility, but overshadowed by greater powers. The royal blood in his veins was a promise, not a guarantee, and the future of his people was uncertain. His birthplace was Anshan, a small kingdom nestled in the rugged land of Persia. Anshan was a place of ancient stones and whispered secrets, where the mountains stood as silent witnesses to the rise and fall of countless generations. Here, the young prince took his first breaths, surrounded by the hopes and fears of his people. His father, Cambyses I, ruled this modest domain, a vassal to the powerful Medes. The Medes, with their grand palaces and formidable armies, cast a long shadow over Anshan. Cambyses was a wise and cautious leader, ever aware that his family's fate depended on the whims of distant kings. Legends surround Cyrus's birth, tales whispered by campfire and etched in ancient texts. Some say the stars themselves foretold his coming, that omens and portents marked the night of his birth. Others speak of dreams and prophecies, of a child destined to change the world. One tells of his grandfather Astyages, king of the Medes, troubled by a dream. In his sleep, Astyages saw a vision of his daughter's son rising up to challenge him, a child who would one day eclipse his own power and bring about the end of his reign. He saw his grandson, Cyrus, overthrowing him and seizing his throne. The dream haunted Astyages, filling him with dread and suspicion. In a world where dreams were seen as messages from the gods, such a vision could not be ignored. Fearful, Astyages ordered the infant Cyrus killed. He entrusted the terrible task to a loyal servant, hoping to erase the threat before it could take root. But fate, as so often in the stories of great men, would not be so easily denied. But fate, it seems, had other plans. The servant, torn between duty and compassion, could not bring himself to end the life of an innocent child. Instead, he sought out a humble shepherd, a man of the hills, and entrusted the infant Cyrus to his care. A shepherd, moved by pity, spared the child and raised him as his own. In the quiet valleys and open fields, Cyrus grew up far from the intrigues of the royal court, learning the ways of the land and the simple wisdom of those who live close to nature. As a boy, Cyrus tended sheep and goats, his days filled with hard work and the lessons of survival. He learned to read the signs of the weather, to find water in the dry hills, and to protect his flock from wolves and thieves. These early years, though humble, shaped his character and taught him the value of perseverance. Young Cyrus, unaware of his royal lineage, grew strong and resourceful in the wilds of Persia. He learned to ride, to hunt, to move silently through the hills, and to face danger with courage. The shepherd's life was not easy, but it forged in him a spirit that would one day inspire nations. He learned to command respect through courage and cunning. Among the other shepherds and villagers, Cyrus stood out for his quick mind and fearless heart. Even as a youth, he showed signs of the leader he would become, earning the loyalty and admiration of those around him. The games and contests of his youth were more than mere play. They were training for the challenges ahead. Wrestling, archery, and mock battles honed his skills and taught him the importance of strategy, teamwork, and honor. These skills, honed in the unforgiving embrace of nature, would prove invaluable in the years to come. For the boy who once watched over sheep in the shadow of the mountains was destined to rise, not just as a king, but as the founder of an empire that would change the course of history. For generations, the Persians had lived divided, their strength fragmented into numerous tribes. They chafed under Median rule, their potential stifled by internal divisions. It was into this cauldron of resentment that Cyrus, now a young man aware of his lineage, stepped. His charisma was undeniable, his courage undeniable. He rallied the Persian tribes, uniting them with a potent mix of diplomacy and military prowess. He spoke of shared heritage, of a glorious destiny that awaited a united Persia. His words resonated, igniting a fire in the hearts of his countrymen. The Median Empire, vast and decadent, underestimated the growing storm. They saw Cyrus as a minor nuisance, a rebellious vassal easily crushed. They would soon learn their error. Cyrus, fueled by the spirit of his ancestors and the unwavering loyalty of his troops, marched to war. With the Persian tribes finally united under his banner, Cyrus the Great stood at the helm of a new and formidable force. The once fragmented clans, who had long been divided by rivalries and ancient feuds, now marched together with a shared sense of destiny. Their unity was not just a political achievement, but a cultural revolution, one that would soon shake the foundations of the ancient world. With his people behind him, Cyrus turned his attention outward, his ambitions growing bolder with every victory. He knew that to secure his legacy and the future of Persia, he would need to challenge the greatest powers of his time. His gaze settled on the wealthy kingdom of Lydia, a land famed for its prosperity and opulence. Lydia was not just another kingdom. It was a symbol of unimaginable wealth, its rivers said to run with gold, its markets overflowing with treasures from across the known world. At its helm was King Croesus, a ruler whose name had become synonymous with riches. Croesus was not only fabulously wealthy, but also proud, confident that his fortune and his powerful army would make him invincible. Croesus placed his faith in the legendary strength of his Lydian cavalry, a force renowned throughout the region for its speed and ferocity. He believed that no army could stand against his horsemen, and that his gold could buy the loyalty of any ally or mercenary. Confident in his might, Croesus rode out to meet Cyrus in open battle, certain that victory would be his. The two armies faced each other on the plains, the air thick with tension and the promise of glory or ruin. The clash that followed was nothing short of epic. The thunder of hooves, the clash of swords, and the cries of warriors filled the battlefield. Croesus, blinded by his own arrogance and the illusion of invulnerability, underestimated the cunning and adaptability of his opponent. Cyrus, ever the master strategist, understood that brute force alone would not win the day. He orchestrated his forces with a level of coordination rarely seen in the ancient world, blending infantry, archers, and cavalry into a single, unstoppable machine. With discipline and precision, the Persian army moved as one, responding to Cyrus's commands with unwavering loyalty. Their formations shifted and adapted, countering every move the Lydians made. But it was Cyrus's ingenuity that turned the tide. Knowing the Lydian cavalry's horses had never encountered camels before, he placed camels at the front lines. The unfamiliar scent and sight of these animals sent the Lydian horses into a frenzy, breaking their ranks and sowing chaos among Croesus's most trusted troops. The camels, lumbering and unafraid, advanced steadily, while the Lydian horses panicked and refused to charge. In an instant, the advantage Croesus had relied upon was gone, replaced by confusion and fear. The Lydian forces, thrown into utter disarray, began to falter. Soldiers fled, standards fell, and the once proud army was routed by the relentless Persian advance. Croesus, who had believed his wealth and power would shield him from defeat, was captured. His arrogance and fortune had proven no match for the strategic genius and determination of Cyrus the Great. The Battle of Thymbra, as it would be remembered for centuries, marked a turning point in history. It was here that the world witnessed the fall of a legendary king and the rise of a new power. Persian banners were raised in triumph, and the soldiers of Cyrus celebrated a victory that would echo across continents. The defeat of Croesus sent shockwaves through neighboring kingdoms, who now saw Persia not as a distant threat, but as a dominant force to be reckoned with. News of the victory spread rapidly, carried by messengers and traders. The world took notice. A new era was dawning, and the balance of power was shifting. In the East, a new power had arisen, one that would shape the destiny of empires for generations to come. At its head stood Cyrus the Great, a king unlike any other, whose vision, courage, and wisdom would forever alter the course of history.